afternoon, Port Jervis, and welcome to the Port Connects Alumni Podcast. My name is Andrew Murata, host of the podcast. Good afternoon. Happy Port Pride Friday, everyone. Happy Dr. Seuss Day. And Dr. Seuss is a famous author, but we're talking to another famous author today. Originally Port Jervis by way of Tennessee now. Dina Galarza Mapes. Dina, welcome to the Port Connects Alumni Podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I'm sure it feels weird to call your principal not Mr. Murata, but you can call me Andrew here on the podcast. My former student, class of 2012 graduate. So happy to be with you, Dina. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well today. I'm struggling a little bit. I've been struggling with bronchitis for the past week and a half. But other than that, I'm doing really well.
As long as that's not affecting your writing ability, we'll deal with the throat. Friends, Dina is working in a school along with her husband. Also, Justin Mapes, a Port graduate. They live in Tennessee now, about 45 minutes from Knoxville. And Dina does a variety of jobs in the school, teacher assistant, crossing guard, and she is their resident author. They're on a professional development day today, so no school for Dina. So Dina, let's start with when you decided to leave Port Jervis. I remember Justin telling me you were married at the time already. You and Justin were married. Talk to me about the decision to move to Tennessee.
So I've been really wanting to branch out and go somewhere where I feel like I was meant to go. And there was an opportunity down here while I was visiting my sister, and I asked Justin, my husband, I was like, are we ready to move? Is this something that we can do? Because I would really love to apply for this position. And he said, yes, absolutely, we can do this. And he gave me that loving support that I needed, and I applied. One day later, I wasn't even off of my vacation, and they called me. They said, we love your resume. We'd like to give you an interview. So the next day after that, they gave me the interview. And the next day after that, I got the job.
Awesome. And congratulations. And when was that, Dina? What year did you move?
We moved in September 2023.
Okay. So a couple of years down there and working and finding her way. And another thing you're finding your way with is becoming an author, Dina. I know you were always a good student, but when did you start writing? When did you say, hey, I want to do this?
So I have written a lot of my life. It wasn't anything professional, but I've always been very astute to the creative part of writing, and I've always done manuscripts. I've written plays. I've written mini stories. I've written another whole novel that I didn't. That's not this one, but I've always loved to write.
And in school too, like when in your English department, when you were in English class and they made you write essays, did you enjoy that?
I did. I actually, I'm not sure if he's still there, but Mr. Leonard in my senior year of high school had us write about an at-home pet, and he singled mine out, and he was like, this story. This is a unique story about a girl with her pet squirrel, and we only had the squirrel for a few weeks because we were just bringing him back to health. But he specifically said how he enjoyed reading it.
Nice. I see you remember those times in school. And friends, if you're watching live, I just put in the chat to sign up to receive Dina's newsletter. Dina, the name of that is The Times of Our Lives. You could sign up there, and then you'll receive that. I received a few, and there's a lot of nuggets in there, Dina. A lot of nuggets, kind of different things that you put in there. Talk to me about creating a newsletter, and is it every week?
No, so my newsletter is monthly.
Monthly.
I I actually built the newsletter because my best friend, my sister, Mallory Baker, she was telling me how um, you have so many things that you need to talk about, you need to get out there, and she thought that it would be a great way to do that. So I use S'more. It's something called S'more.com. It's an educational newsletter platform, and I've been using that since, I believe, December or November. And each month I put a little bit more in there. I do my research and I say, hey, what should go in this type of newsletter? I'm writing a fantasy series and I want to know what I could put in here to make this newsletter more interesting to the public.
Yeah.
And I just do a lot of research.
Yeah, it's writing the newsletter, writing the blogs is a way to kind of strengthen your writing. You're
Yeah.
writing there, but then you might think of something that you could put in that next book. You might think of an idea, but it's kind of like working out every day,
Yeah.
that exercise and training that. And but Dina, you also wrote a book in addition to the newsletter. It came out last June, almost a year now. The Lies Told in the Dark. And the genre is a fantasy adventure. Congratulations, number one. And number two, the title gets you thinking. There's a small town. That's your thing. That's your description there. But tell us about The Lies Told in the Dark and that idea, and where did it come from, and how the heck do you write a book?
So The Lies Told in the Dark.
Hold that up so we can see it. Right, move it into the camera. Look at that. There it is. Beautiful cover.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
So The Lies Told in the Dark, it's an adventure fantasy. So there's lots of magic and family, and so there's a sister and a brother that have been looking for their other sister, and she recently got in contact with the family via letter. It was carried over 5 days so they could get it, and the sister was like, we need to go get her, we need to save her.
Wow.
So they embark on this journey to go save her. There's a long there was a familial lie within the family about I'm not going to give that away.
You don't have to give it all away. That's
But
okay.
there's a familial lie, and then the sister takes it really hard. So along with her physical adventure, she's dealing with struggles from within, from trying to understand and accept what's actually happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Very cool there. Lies, twists, turns. People dig that kind of stuff. If you're watching the show live, jump in and say hello. Dina, how do you know that you liked it? I remember being in art class trying to create something, or if I'm making a story and Joe is going down to the store and all of a sudden there's a car crash. Like how do you make up the story in your mind?
I have a truly vivid imagination, and a lot of my dreams are really vivid too. So I get a lot of inspiration from my dreams. I got to give the credit to God, because I wouldn't be here without God, and I'm just very thankful for my imagination.
Nice. And do you keep a notepad with you and you
I actually do.
Do you sit down while your boys are still sleeping on a Sunday morning and write? When and how do you do it?
So it's not an exact schedule, because life as a mother, I'm a mother of I have two beautiful boys, JJ and Logie. So life as a mother is busy.
Yeah.
So I don't have an exact schedule. However, when there is downtime in the afternoons, after all the afternoon activities, after school activities, I'll sit down for maybe an hour or two and I'll just start typing, or I will go into my notebook, my handy dandy notebook, and write some ideas down. Um, like I said before, I have vivid dreams, so sometimes I get it in the middle of the night, and I just have to write it down. So I jot it down on my notebook.
So you wake up and you write it down.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. And when you say you just sit down and write, do you have stuff prepared? Do you have kind of notes of things that you thought about from the last time you wrote? Or is it kind of like you just start creating, like almost like you're making a meal, you're just creating and adding? Is it a little bit of both? How do you
A
do
little
it?
bit of both, honestly. Um, to begin the story, it was a lot like, oh, I'm gonna add this, and I'm gonna add this, and I'm gonna add this. But throughout my writing journey, I've learned to stop and slow down, reread what I already have, and then whatever's on my mind in that moment, I would add to it. I would be like, okay, so this is where I was going. This is where I need to go. Now I need that middle. I need the middle of the sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dina, when you wrote in school, you mentioned Mr. Leonard, you would submit a paper and like you would get feedback. Like you'd get it. Right now, you don't get that immediate feedback. You get comments, you get reviews
Yes.
online. But how do you know in your heart, like, this is good? I know people are gonna like this. It's not like you have a teacher giving you feedback. Did you have someone read it ahead of time? Did you get feedback before you published it? How did that all go?
So with my first book, it was definitely a different process than my other books that I have been continuing to write. But with my first book, I was just sending them to trusted friends and family. I said, "How does this sound? Do I need to add something? Do I need to do something more? Do I need to do something less?" Because I am very dramatic. I have a dramatic flair. So, um, but my husband was basically my beta reader, and he read The Lies Told in the Dark about 10 times. Um, and he's not an avid reader like his author wife.
Yeah.
So, so he read it about 10 times. He gave me his honest feedback. Most of it was positive. Some of it was he's like, oh, you really need to dig into here. You really need to take some of this out, save more for later. Things like that.
And Dina, again, the writing, the book, all tremendous. I just put your website in the chat there. If somebody's interested for their class or for their own enjoyment, what would you say the age level is? Is it a book for kids in school, or is it for young adult readers? Where would you say
I would say it would probably be more aptly appropriate for young adult readers, mature readers. There's nothing spicy or anything in it, but there are adult themes, mature themes,
Okay.
and I don't believe this would be a children's book. This would definitely be more categorized as young adult.
So where can people find it if they're interested? Again, the name of the book is called The Lies Told in the Dark. Very cool. Dina Galarza Mapes. Dina, where can they find the book?
So if they want the ebook, they can go on to Amazon or barnesandnoble.com, and they can get the ebook from there. I do have physical copies, as you can see. I have physical copies, but they are a personal purchase, so you would have to contact myself. You would have to contact me via email, text message, or some other form of. I have several different forms that you could fill out that you could say, "Hey, I want this in physical form."
Nice. Very cool. Well, good luck with that, Dina. I know it's a difficult thing to write and create, but when you hold that book in your hand, it's pretty exciting.
It is very exciting. The first time I held it in my hand, I was very excited. I almost cried. I actually did this.
We're proud of you. It's very cool, and part of the reason you're certainly here on the program, you and along your fellow classmate Vicky Shealy, writing books out there. I saw a picture of a book signing there. What was that like?
Oh, my first book signing. It was really nerve-wracking, actually. So one of my best friends, Mallory Baker, and I made a banner, and it's a banner for the entire series. So the series is called Times of Our Lives.
Nice.
And we made that specifically for that first book, that book signing. I called the library and I said, hey, I'm a local author. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could host me, and so I could get the word out on this book series that I'm writing. And they loved it. They were all over it. They said, yes, absolutely. We love hosting authors. So I did that. I hosted a raffle during the book signing. I had some free refreshments.
Nice.
I also have another book signing. I had a book signing in February, and I have another one at the end of March as well.
It takes a lot to write a book. It takes a lot to sell a book. So,
Yes.
Yeah, good luck with those, Dina, and certainly a lot of fun to meet the author too. So, Dina, let's take it back 2008, 2009, 10, 11, 12. You're here with us in Port Jervis Schools, and back then you were a celebrity known as Dina from DECA, heavily involved with the DECA Service Club and organization. Talk to me about some fond memories of your time Port Jervis Schools.
So some of my fond memories come from DECA Club, yes. A couple of other ones come from my time in the musical department. I love singing, I love dancing, I love acting. But I really enjoyed doing DECA Distributive Education Clubs of America because I was working with some good people. I was working with Mrs. Randy Liberati. She's still there in the Port Jervis School District.
Yes.
Hi, Miss Liberati. I love you. Yeah, she consistently gave to me in high school and out of high school as well. She consistently encourages me, and we talk every once in a while, and it's awesome.
You were in every day getting permission. Can we do this? We're going here. Every day you had something for me to sign and do. But you inspired me, Dina. You inspired me for somebody that had so much passion for service, helping others. You just wanted to do, and it was great there. And you mentioned Mr. Liberati, also Mike Pacer, the band. You loved being in there, but he also kind of helped you emotionally. He helped you kind of maybe when you were down a little bit. Talk to me about some of the things that Mr. Pacer helped you work through and why you connected with him.
Yes, Mr. Mike Pacer, he was my favorite band teacher during school. One time I was really struggling. I got a hard, I wasn't good at math. I've never been good at math. And I got a pretty poor grade before I had to go in to test for him for band. And the piece that I was playing was fairly easy. It was a fairly easy piece of music to read. And I was a fairly good flautist, but I just couldn't get it. I couldn't get it. And he saw how frustrated I was getting. And he said, Dina, stop. You need to stop. Listen to me. He turned me around, made me look at him. And he was like, in order to succeed, you need to double your failure rate. And I'm a sophomore. I'm 14, 15 years old. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? But he went on to explain, not everybody succeeds on their first go around. Not everybody will get it right away. But what's different between you and them is that you are persevering in this. You are persevering in the thought of trying to be bettering yourself. And I was a teenager, so I was like, hey, yeah, whatever. But throughout the years, that piece of advice has almost become my mantra in life. In order to succeed, double your failure rate. It's very encouraging to me as a person, as an author, as a mother. It can go for anything in your life, anything that you do. And I really appreciate that little piece of advice. He might not even remember telling me, but every single day I remember that.
Yeah, and I mean, he had that as a sign in his room. I remember there, and as a musician, right, another type of artist. It's part of it. So I love that you remember these small things there that really had a deep impact on you.
Yes. I
Yeah,
find inspiration in the small things, and that's kind of how I got to this point,
yeah.
becoming a published author.
And now you're working in schools, Dina. I mean, not only are you keeping the kids safe, being the crossing guard there. I mean, that's that's a big job in the morning. But you're also in the classroom. You're a teacher assistant, different grade levels. Talk to me about now as an adult working with kids in the school.
So working with the children in the school, oh man, I love them so much. They're all my little babies. I'm very protective of them, being the crossing guard and their instructional assistant. I'm very protective over them and how they learn. And I always try to encourage them, just like Mr. Pacer did with me, like Miss Liberati did, like Mr. Leonard did. I'm always encouraging them. I'm always telling them, hey, you got this. All you need to do is slow down. It's okay to slow down,
Mm.
and just encourage them to do better every time, even if they do fail. Even when they want to succeed, they need to double their failure rate.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. And Dina, what lies ahead? You have two, again, beautiful boys. I think you said 7 and 11.
7-Eleven.
You and Justin, you're in Tennessee there. What are some things you might be looking for in your future? A year, 2 years, 5 years? Where do you want to go with all of this?
So I definitely want to go all the way. I mean, who wouldn't want to go all the way as a published author with authors like Stephen King, Stephanie Meyer, Nicholas Sparks, so on. Who wouldn't want their kind of a career? I definitely want to continue writing, and I want to encourage anybody through my writing and through um, teacher assisting, and I love how I was encouraged throughout my life, and it's a big part of my life to encourage other people and to encourage children.
Well, and I know you want to make a series here. You have another one, the sequel coming to Lies in the Dark there. Tell us that one there. What's the Journey to the Past? Wow. And it's connected. It has the same characters. And
Yes.
Okay.
It is connected. So I'd love to talk about it and give you this description. So I'm just going to give you the description that's on the back of the book, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Death has ripped open a chasm in the shocking aftermath of The Lies Told in the Dark. The second installment of Times of Our Lives series catapults Bernadette and Vanessa into a treacherous past. The two women must navigate their way through time while the looming threat of an altered future is in the balance. Their desperate journey back to the present will test their bonds and force them to question everything they thought they knew. Guiding Caldera into a new era, Violet questions her own leadership. She has the help of Elias and Charlotte, who has amnesia and doesn't remember anything she's done in the past 15 years.
Oofa.
Elias and Violet become closer in the coming days, and Violet gets confused about Kendrick and Elias. But Elias's heart still burns for the unforgettable Bernadette. Will Bernadette and Vanessa escape the past? What will happen in the city of Caldera? Find out in Journey to the Past.
Dina Galarza Mapes. Dina, I remember sitting in those English classes watching the teacher talk about, previewing your work, bringing the author. That is a great introduction. I like how you asked questions in there. So Netflix, if you're watching, we got a hot series here. Harry Potter started somewhere, friends. So here's our next star here. Again, Dina Galarza Mates, class of 2012. Dina, it must feel great to have that book in your hands, and
It does.
certainly proud of you. So, Dina, a lot of people here in the Port Jervis community watch the podcast, kids, families. What would you say to that kid, whether it's art and they want to be an artist, that kid that plays the guitar or wants to be a singer or even maybe a writer? What would you say to that 7th or 8th grader that says, wow, Dina has a book. I want that one day. What would you say to that kid?
So the advice I would give to anybody going into the writing field, any type of creative field, is to know who you are and to know who's in your corner. There are many people out there looking just to be who you are, to be you. And that's not a bad thing. To be who you are is uniquely personal, and you are the only you. Dr. Seuss said it the best. Today you are you. That's truer than true. There's no one alive that's youer than you. And yeah, just don't let anybody take that sparkle away from you because they want to be you.
Wow. Dina from DECA here. Fantastic stuff. And here she is working in schools. And so getting a teaching degree, something like that, is not in the cards. You'd rather pursue, writing is more what you're looking to do.
I am very ambitious. I would actually love to become more eventually in my line of work. However, right now, this is where I'm at. I would love to become a writer.
Yeah.
I'd love to become a teacher. I'd love very much. I'm very interested in multiple things, and I know through hard work that I will eventually become everything that I need to be.
Wow. I'm inspired here, Dina. It's a Friday afternoon, long week. But man, really, really cool. Dina, what are some things you miss about being here in Port? You've been away for a few years now, Tennessee. Our community is really coming together. What are some things that you miss about being up here?
So, I've always known that I wanted to go somewhere and do something more with my life. And I do miss certain aspects of Port Jervis, but I'm truly blessed to be where I'm at right now. The journey that my family and I are going on, I believe, has been ordained by God because it's everything that we needed, that we weren't particularly, not getting, but we weren't getting them how we needed it.
Yeah.
We really miss, our family up there. We really miss our friends up there. We lived there most of our lives, and it was a hard decision, but it was also an easy decision because, like I said, this move was ordained by God. But we all miss all of our, our work buddies, our friends, our family, and that's really been the hardest part about moving, and taking that leap of faith.
Yeah. Well, I wish you the best there, Dina. I like your eagerness. I like your excitement, even connecting with me to make this podcast happen. You were so flexible with the time. I had to change the time, and you were great with that. And as your former principal, to see you doing these things, it is very inspiring. Education does have an impact on our kids, and here's Dina, a mom and an author, and working in schools now herself. So congratulations, Dina, and on behalf of Port Jervis Schools, we wish you the best. If we could support you, if we could help you, let us know. And again, we gotta get Netflix this special here so we can learn more about the lies in the dark. We're trying to teach kids to be honest, and here you are, got lies in the dark.
That's right.
I'm just kidding. But excited for you. Again, your husband Justin Mapes, also a Port grad. So, Dina, before we let you go, Port Pride means a lot to us who work here, who went to school here. What does Port Pride mean to you?
So Port Pride means to know where you came from. If it weren't for the beginning, there wouldn't be a now, there wouldn't be an end. Port Pride means being proud of who you are and who you became along the way because of the person that you were in the past.
Awesome. Dina Galarza, Mapes, friends, class of 2012. Leave her a positive comment in the chat. And her website is in the chat. Her newsletter is in the chat. I've signed up for it. And Dina, keep writing.
Yes, and don't feel shy. Visit me on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, and everything else that Mr. Murata said.
Yeah. And the links are in the show notes there. So We're proud of her. If you're watching the show and you're an alum and you have some things going on, reach out like Dina has, and we'll get you connected here on the podcast. Also, Dina, I'm proud to announce we are going to kick off an alumni association, connecting alumni with students. So we are going to be releasing that later this year. We're excited about that through Panther Square. So we'll have our alumni connected there and getting more information from Port and all that kind of stuff. So, Dina, I wish you the best. What do you got planned this weekend? You got anything big this weekend?
This weekend, I am going to be going to a youth group called Children of Hope for children's pre-K through their senior year, 12th grade in the school. We're going to go there, and then the rest of the week, I'm going to recoup from bronchitis.
Well, here she is straining herself to be on the podcast, but again, honored to have you. Dina from DECA, her high school time. Dina, this has been fun. I wish you the best. Again, friends, her book is available out there. Just Google it, The Lies in the Dark, and it's on a number of different platforms, e-form and hard copy. Reach out to her. She'll sign it and get it to you, and her information is in the chat there. So, Dina, stay on the line a second, but we're going to sign off here on Port Connects, and I wish everyone a wonderful weekend. And Dina, how about a Go Port?
I'm going to give you one better. I'm going to shout out the principal, Miss Emily Mesnick. Go HBE and go Port.
See you, Dina. Stay on the line.